The microphone. Okay. Hi. Welcome to the Fluid Voice. I am Ozma in the Dark, still utilizing she/they pronouns. This time for the purposes of turning on flashlights in your brain. I am here with Christy. How are you, Christy?
I'm okay. I'm coming out of that 3 weeks of being sick, and I apologize to the audience and stuff. I'm Christy Abbey, and I use she, her, and I promise to utilize it only for good, not for evil, until I choose to do otherwise. and yeah, my brain just went dark, so.
Fair. And finally, we have Perfict. How are you, Perfict?
Howdy. He, him pronouns, for the good or the ill of it.
Okay, and tonight we are talking about Pride. I know I named it Pride Away, but and I didn't think, for whatever reason, to think of a good Father's Day thing. So we're talking about Pride because Pride is being talked about. Also, hello everyone. How are you doing? How are you, audience?
Yes. Tell us about it.
Tell us about it, Janet.
So, I mean, there's been a lot of specific topics that I don't know if we disagree about or how long that we'll end up talking about with relation to Pride. But let's start at kink at Pride, since that seems to upset some people or whatnot.
Get used to it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think friend of the show, Jesse Gender, did a wonderful video on this. That pride is inherently which boils down to pride is inherently transgressive. He didn't use that word, but and so it's what belongs to Pride is what belongs to Pride. We didn't used to belong at Pride, you know. So
yeah, I mean, we did, and then we didn't, and then we did whatever. Yeah, see, that's why kink at Pride. This is why I did Pride or Pride Away, because I'm just like, there's a good chance that we will agree on a lot of stuff. And by the way, I agree with the kink thing so long as people are respecting consent, but that's an all-around rule. Or I think yeah. And by consent, I mean like action consent, not consent to look a particular way.
If a day goes by that I'm on Twitter and someone doesn't call me an autogonophile, I'm kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm not, but what would be wrong if I was? What's the point of that?
Well, yeah, and this gets, well, I guess I do have something to say about kink in Pride, which I always got the impression that Pride was about getting rid of shame, like no longer being ashamed about like being who you are and liking what you like and all that jazz. So like the idea of creating this hierarchy of what should be at Pride is a great way to just, well, let people be ashamed to like what they like.
I find it disquieting when people are saying, your kink is not my kink. Your kink should be hidden.
Yeah.
And you go, wait. Can we walk this back a little bit? Your kink isn't my kink, so your kink is bad? What? You're disagreeing with your kink is bad as a principle, and saying that, and I will grant you, I've been at prides where there were people who were behaving in a outwardly sexual way, where it was dominance and submission, and a large part of it was dealing with, it was in public, meaning that anyone in the area was part of their boudoir game.
Well, the thing
And
is,
you go,
like,
this is one day a year. They're allowed to have one day a year where they can bring their boudoir game out in public, and nobody's going to call them on it.
well, the thing is also, like, when you're talking about kinks, there's a lot of sensual aspects of kinks as opposed to sexual aspects of kinks. Like, if they're not like actually fucking in the streets and they're doing something that they might find arousing but isn't sexually arousing to anyone else, and whether sensually or sexually, it's like, does it count as a sexual act if you don't feel anything like there's anything sexual about it? And you don't know for sure if what they're feeling is sensual or sexual. So, like, it's a lot of things where it's people get uncomfortable because people get uncomfortable and then they decide to exclude. I get the impression.
Yeah. I mean, my first pride was, just yelling in the street. You were here, we're get used to it.
Yeah.
So I have a longer history of this.
I have attended a few prides. I can tell you that most of them, you notice there's they would have a parade that went through part of the city and then reached, for instance, the Pride grounds, where there's all kinds of tents and pavilions and selling stuff, and there's a stage and a stage show and so on, and it goes through that area, and then the floats kind of change, and they're bawdy and kinky and spanking each other and so on, and they bring themselves back into good repair as they exit and continue on with the parade for a little bit, for another block.
Yep. It seems about right.
And you go in, it's very certain, and I'm like, that's more than one city where they're very clear on, in here, we're as bawdy as we like to be. Out there, we're doing we're here, we're queer, get used to it. And yeah, we're in rubber underwear, okay, on the floats.
Yeah, which in itself is only as sexual as society wants it, or considers it. Like,
right, the Black
that's the
Widow,
thing. Like, what's considered
exactly
sexual?
Like, okay, in comics, right, and the movies, and that isn't sex gear, okay, or maybe it is. I mean, you can make a good case the other way too, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be about pride and being yourself, and yeah, if you strip that all away, it's no longer a pride parade.
It's and
the for the children argument is just cringe.
I mean,
I can sympathize a little bit with somebody going, look, I want to be able to bring my kid to a pride parade and show them that I'm accepting of this idea in a way that doesn't involve me having to have a very special episode of Blossom. Okay. Where I can just be accepting of it and they can see me being accepting of this idea. But I'd like to have a pride parade where nobody got naked. Can we do that? And you go, look, the pride parade isn't there to serve your purposes.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's.
And I mean,
it's not. It's. Yeah, it's funny. I've thought about this much more than I did when. I mean, I had a news camera up in my face the first Pride I went to after coming out. And I said something far more pithy and intelligent then than I'm about to right now. So, but it is up to every single individual what Pride means to them.
Yeah.
Really.
Emily Chambers is pointing out in the chat that Pride started as a riot.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, we've got mostly agreements, whatever. On that.
Well, yeah, I mean, sorry, but this is going to be a kind of a echo chamber.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a lot of Ozma comes up with something that she's thought about or she's heard with regards to Pride. And then we talk about it and have a high probability of agreeing. So let's get with the next topic I can think of about Pride. So it relates a little bit to King's Pride, but. Inclusivity, specifically accessibility, or let's just say accessibility at Pride, because this is kind of an issue depending on the Pride that you go to.
It's absolutely because of the people who ran it here for a number of years. It's absolutely required here. So
yeah,
I don't know.
However, prides are notorious, and I can tell you it is absolutely true. Like I said, been to a number of them on a number of places, and they're notorious for being inaccessible.
Yeah, and a lot of times with a lot of inaccessibility when it comes to certain events, there's always been a conversation such as sort of like, oh, we're not a big organization, so we can't put the effort to doing this in an accessible venue.
Oh,
I hear from what I try and be understanding in my listening, okay? And yes, I do hear them saying that, and what I think they're saying is they use ordinances to beat us down. All the time, they keep with all the ordinances and things that we have to meet and hoops we have to jump through and the money it costs us. And so, yes, we just start meeting things on a minimalist level. And yes, we got 3 wheelchair accessible bathrooms, but only 2 of them are open, or 1 of them is open.
Oh.
Okay, you're like, what? You're going, what? You know, that.
I realize that deep blue areas like mine are kind of outliers for a lot of things. So I don't know that I've had non-accessible Pride. I've gone in a wheelchair, so we very specifically the Elmwood Strip, which is where Pride is.
Yeah, but I've also been at a Pride where there was a person in a walker being helped into a porta potty.
Yeah, that is not the case.
So I'm saying that it gets to really kind of disgustingly inaccessible to, and that it's locking them out. And I think that part of it is that they are harassed by having to meet codes, and then they have an understandable but not excusable behavior. They're having a behavioral response. And the people who end up getting hurt are not the people that they're mad at.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Welcome to being human. It doesn't mean that what they're doing is good or acceptable or not kind of.
Oh, I agree, and there's a provisions and such for the to have accessible bathrooms in the various places, businesses. There we go.
Having the accessible bathrooms are actually were in like I don't want a public building nearby.
Yeah,
you're going. You can reach there over sidewalks. So yeah, it perfectly makes sense. From the park, you can get to there and use those facilities and so on. But then that they're locked is crazy, and the crazy ideas of why they're locked is,
Oh, yeah, that's not. That is Siri, because I still was having a lot more trouble walking in 2018. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where
I just parked at Bidwell Parkway, which is near the beginning of the parade.
But I mean, it's one of those things that should, at the very least, be on people's minds. It shouldn't just be something to gloss over, I feel like. And I'm not sure how many pride parades that has been glossed over. And what Emily Chambers brought up in chat, been told that you people don't need to be here. That's a bad bride. Like I can I can make declarations that the pride that Christy goes to sounds like a good pride.
They did have to work at it. I will say that. I mean, 2004 I think was the last before 19 or 2018 I went to.
Well, yeah, I mean, all this stuff, I mean, all of these things have had to be fought for. Like, there is so much of the just any rights or ability to access for anyone, whether you're LGBT, whether you're disabled, whether you just want to dress how you want to. It's just been a lot of work just to get anything done.
Just to broaden it a bit, if I can. I think policing of other participants in Pride is not good. I mean, if they're being jerks and pushing people around, kick them out. But the not out yet bisexual people, for instance, who come around, what are you doing here? That kind of thing, which I saw a lot of in 2004, which really is the reason I didn't go back for a long time. Yeah,
and that was just like that was bad. That's a bad attitude to just be like, oh yeah, you're not you don't present queer enough, fuck you is not like a good way to create an inclusive, accepting environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just don't think I also I could see somebody saying we want to do a pride which is squeaky clean, which I find that a bothersome idea, but I don't think that I'd find that to be as good an idea as prides are in their current state. I know there is a push to make prides sterilized for marketability, and that people want to market prides and market their pride and so on. And
yeah,
the more you can turn it into the Waltons, the better you can sell it. You don't know the Waltons.
I'm aware of the Waltons. I'm vaguely aware of the Waltons, but that's just because pop culture. I tend to be aware of random facts. Also, I think my parents brought it up.
Brady Bunch will do. Everybody knows.
Yeah, Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch is a bit easier to remember when it comes to cultural stuff. Although,
that's Lawrence Henderson.
what about Leave It to Beaver? Oh, right, no, that was a different type of show.
Oh no, that was too. Yeah,
Lawrence Henderson was a serious ally in March in the 70s, so
Yeah, but
or don't you think you were a little hard on the beaver last night?
Yeah.
But
as an adult, those shows take on an entirely different tone.
I suddenly feel like I need to watch some of those episodes as an adult. As if I don't think I've ever watched them. I've just seen references to Leave It to Beaver. But yeah, I lost my train of thought with regards to inclusivity and pride. So let's see here. What's another thing that's brought up?
I want to double back here.
Okay.
Policing that you don't present.
Oh yeah, policing.
If I'm looking. Yeah. Policing by the participants. I'm being very careful in my word here because I'll talk about the other in a second. Because this is one where I'm sure we're going to disagree. So, if I hadn't gone to the Dyke March in 2018, I don't know that I would have come out, but I think it was inevitable by that time, considering when I finally did. I way thought it was earlier in the year, but it was not. And I looked it up recently because I came across a picture that had both me and the person I came there with, and the person I came out to.
Yeah.
Which are three different, so there was one picture, three people. It's like, oh, well, this is pretty much that story in a nutshell, isn't it? I'll get more into that in a little bit.
Yeah, because that is an important aspect to pride. I feel like it is just the ability to be yourself and just have some time where you can be yourself in public. And I mean that's just been something that has been difficult to do for a lot of marginalized groups. And which is why these events are important. But yeah, if you start sectioning them off too much, then it's harder for people to learn from just, hey, you can be yourself. Maybe society should be like this. Not exactly like this, but a bit more like this all the time.
Yep. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can manage that.
Yeah, so yeah, so you're perfect. You're the funny thing is I think you've been to more prides than me, Perfect. I am like the most anti-social person ever. I'm just like, from a distance, just being like, yes, I think I'm getting this stuff on a conceptual level, but not going anywhere. But I mean, to be fair, it's just there's been a lot of rougher life stuff, but I guess
know a lot of people who go to prides, and I know people who vend at prides. Some of the vendors there.
Yeah, I might need to find a way to vend at prides, but with regards to the policing of prides and like the making it like the Waltons or Leave It to Beaver or the Brady Bunch or whatever.
I don't know how to express it. They're trying to make it family friendly. Well,
the thing is, what counts as family? Like, two women holding hands to some people is not family friendly. Like, you can't make it. What counts as family friendly is oftentimes don't have the different people, and like it's so you can change society to accept you, or you can change how you act to be more like how society, or what society currently accepts. And pride, in my mind, has always been about the former and not the latter. And I can't think of the good shorter words to be used to describe those two things. Because Christy.
Yes, hi.
Do you know? Okay, so do you know the words off the top of your head? So one is you're trying to change society to accept you, and the other is you are trying to change how you present so that you can be more accepted by society. And I can't think of the words, and it's driving me crazy.
I have 2 weeks growth of beard right this second, so I can't. I'm not really, and it's freaking me out. So I'm not really one to talk about it. I was gonna. I mean, I have a pithy answer, except for the fact that I just caught myself in the mirror and went, ah.
Okay. I mean, I guess effectively it's one is a good way to get tolerance, and the other seems to be a good way to get acceptance. Yeah. In my mind. And I think pride should always focus on trying to create an environment of acceptance, not simply tolerance.
Yeah. Part of it is that the valuable, the thing in pride is that people can be themselves and normal, and it's just accepted.
Yeah.
A striking moment for me was at one pride. There was a couple, and they were there as vendors. Two guys, a couple.
Uh-huh.
They were a very demonstrative couple that one of them would go shopping at another booth and then come back, and they give each other a peck, and they touch each other's arm, and
Okay.
in saying hello and so on. They're one of those couples that does that. That's just normal thing for couples all the time. Lots of okay. Some couples are very physically demonstrative in that sort of way,
Right.
and always giving each other physical reassurance and greetings.
Yeah.
And then we went out to dinner. And one of them was at the table long before the other. The other then shows up, having done something, and then they showed up. And they sit down, and one of them patted the other's thigh under the table.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay.
No kiss, no holding hands. Patted the other's thigh under the table. And that was it. 250 feet away, but they're not inside the Pride anymore, and it's not okay. They're a judge of the society, and they didn't feel it was okay
Oh.
to do that. And so they at the Pride, they're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I know you don't say in public what state you're in, but can you at least say you're in a red state or a blue state there?
Oh, me? I'm in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I say that's open knowledge.
So
Okay.
you are in a half state.
Yeah, but this wasn't here. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, well,
but the point is that it was their judgment of the community that they were in, and they were like, nope. And I'm not saying that they were absolutely right, but they don't feel it would be acceptable that to do that just out in the world.
but I mean that's
You
such a minor thing.
It's a sad thing.
But it's restrictive, and that what Pride is providing is in part a time when there isn't that restriction for them.
Yeah.
And how much does society now? That's pretty vanilla, if you ask me.
Yeah.
For Pride and
It's
that sort of thing. Okay,
It's
that
super
sounds like
vanilla.
family value, right? And you go, I think that most people would go, no, we're perfectly happy having them do that sort of thing. And I'm like, but we don't want them to do the kinky stuff. And you go,
Yeah, but like
you're saying you only want to impose part of the yoke.
But I mean, the thing is, there's like kinky stuff in just general clothing, which has gotten popularized enough to not be necessarily thought of by people as even kinky stuff. Like it's a lot of it is just what people are willing to accept.
Well, I often say I'm spoiled by living here, which is true. But my friend of Cyrus's, Siren, damn it, Siren online, Cyrus in real life, doesn't matter. He's very open about it. So, decided to celebrate the beginning of Pride by coming out, which is why they are living here now.
Yeah.
Because was kicked out immediately upon coming out.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think happened here, but apparently does.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of there's the thing I watched recently with relation to that, but I think it'd be best to tie that into Pride's still important.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm. We're not past. I don't think we're in any way past the need of pride, and I think that the point is that it's not doing the partial restriction, saying I just want you to be vanilla. Instead, you go. That's not.
Like what like
That's where we're supposed to be in everyday life. That's where we're supposed to be in everyday life. Is everybody's allowed to be vanilla, and
Yeah.
then on. No, you're still going to want the Pride Day.
Yeah.
Well, some people want it more than others. I had seen something relatively recently. It's a sort of conversation point that comes up, and it's one where some people feel comfortable and safe. There are some LGBT people who feel comfortable and safe where they are, and then they're just like, well, we don't need pride anymore.
Yeah, there's that, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree with that point of view. But,
just seeing how many people were up in arms over the damn Blues Clues song.
I watched that.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
I thought it was pretty awesome. I thought it was really, really good.
wait,
Only in retrospect, when listening to other people talking about the homogenization of Pride and trying to turn it into a commercial venture, I was like, I wonder if they're thinking of the Blues Clues thing. I don't think that was Blues Clues' intent. I think Blues Clues was just being inclusive.
wait,
Yeah.
what's the Blue's Clues thing?
Well, I'm gonna ask you to put it in the links anyway. So
It's pretty awesome. I can.
Give me a second while I figure out how to get to YouTube without screwing everything up.
I can do it.
Well, I mean, we don't necessarily need to watch it, although.
No. We don't. We can't watch it. It's a copyrighted song, and
Well, okay.
Yeah, but we can give a link to it, and it will get lots more views.
I mean, that's true.
All the people who watch us will tune to it. That will be a huge boost to them.
There was two. There was one for.
Well, you can give me a rundown.
It's called. I think the only objection I have to it is that it's drag queen, because I'm really kind of tired of that representation. But that's my own problem.
Yeah, well, but drag queens are fine so long as drag kings can get representation too.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Linked it.
All right.
One of
Fine.
them.
I'll link the other one then.
The fight of the links.
It's all right. You linked it? You linked it already? Fine, I'll put the other one up.
I just did.
You got both of them?
I said, here it is, and then you mean this one?
Sorry, I just saw that show up in the,
I
the
don't
chat.
it didn't show up in my chat.
Well, it just showed up in chat so far as I can tell, so.
The YouTube chat.
Yeah. No, I know. It, but yeah, so what... I don't know what this is about at all, so you said it's copyrighted music, so I can't play it on here, but can you give me a rundown of the two Blues Clues things?
Yeah,
Okay,
they do a marching one, the song marching one by one.
Yeah, too many more bars.
And it goes through. It's pretty damn inclusive. I don't see anybody that got left out.
And it was nicely done. And you know, I
Yeah. Yeah.
Blue's Clues did a good job, and Blue's Clues is a really good company, good show,
Yeah.
And
they pay attention and they hit the mark, and there you go. So I don't know of a lot of stuff coming out of there that where you go, wow. They should have run that by somebody first.
Sorry, I just have the Owen Wilson wow in my head now.
oh.
I might need that. I might need to have a clip of that in case I ever need to use it again. No, yeah, so you had a couple of inclusive Blues Clues songs. And what, did people just have a problem because it's being inclusive?
No.
Yes.
Well, they had a problem with it being inclusive, and they also had a problem with it existing at all.
How dare you
This in a
be putting
kid's show.
inclusive material on a kid's show?
Gotcha, because they don't want...
If I wanted my children not to hate, I'll teach them not to hate.
Yeah, I mean... people are definitely taught to hate certain people. That's not an instinct necessarily.
Yeah, I have no fear of being caught in clips either. So
I mean, I guess there's one aspect of it's a mixture of being taught, and there's some amount of sometimes people get weirded out by people who are different from them. So I guess there is one aspect that may be instinctual, but like there's also a lot of there's so much media that's like, yeah, this is what bad people do. Only bad people are the ones who do have desires that are different from the cishet norm. And yeah,
I will have to find it. There was literally a guy, he's on YouTube, complaining that they had a cartoon of a woman. I'm trying to remember, with rainbow hair, I think he was saying.
Okay, I assume it was the new She-Ra.
Who? No. This doing the Blue's Clues thing.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, just a guy dressed like a woman.
Oh God.
And I'm like, it's a cartoon. All of that is happening in your head.
I think the one thing was for gays, it was frogs. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh.
Subtle.
Okay. They also suggested that they were promoting bestiality.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so this is the common anti-LGBT
Which I don't see how you can have shows with talking animals all over it. Okay, tune into Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is a line too far, and I'm like, the world is full of crazy people, and people did go crazy.
I mean, admittedly, I'm not a fan of describing stuff that way, but that's partially because of all the.
Oh, that isn't how I found it. Christy showed me this. That's how I found it.
Oh, yeah, no. The crazy people going crazy thing.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, was that their description or?
Oh no, that was my description of them.
Oh yeah. See that I was just gonna see. I'm gonna go like full nitpicky and just be like, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways in which that sort of language can be used to shame people.
Okay, you're right. I shouldn't be saying that. But
assholes finding excuses
You're right.
to be assholes. Assholes is general enough.
Yeah.
So wait, I decided to come out at the Dyke March, and I was already out by the Pride Parade. Weird.
Yeah, sometimes stuff happens faster than you think it does.
Yeah, I've been when I'm telling the story because it was that close together. Apparently, I'm actually actively searching for something to link that I wanted to link to, but I can't.
Oh, okay.
You've just determined to link something up there.
Well, no, I linked the other Nickelodeon thing. I sent the other Nickelodeon thing, so I put that in links too. It's also with Nina West, which again, that is the only objection I have to it. Is I would like better representation than drag queens right now, soon.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Well, I mean, yeah. But that it also doesn't help that there's been aspects of drag culture that have been historically anti-trans, but
yeah, including where she's very inclusive, so or at least the song,
which that is good, but the more famous one has historically not been so much.
Yeah,
there's always going to be weird factions and problems in every group. Any group you care to define. Whatever method, there will be people within the group who are mad at, about, or shame towards some other people in the group.
Unfortunately, the most famous drag queen was a bit transphobic there.
Yeah,
maybe still is, but not good for the brand.
I mean, some of that's brought out in the that one documentary, Paris is Burning? What?
Nope. The one with RuPaul in it?
No, not. I don't think RuPaul was in it, but
see, I was gonna not name him.
That's fine. I'm sure RuPaul is not going to get a ton of extra hate because two trans people on a relatively small channel mentioned him.
No, but I was trying to be classy.
That's fine. But
as I'm literally picking at my toenails right now. What?
they are.
But when it comes to
actually, you find out that they have software that scours the internet using gaydar, trying to look for their name, right?
Hey, I mentioned Pauly Shore on Twitter once, and he followed me.
Nice. But what I was gonna say is, it's the drag queen anti-trans thing. There's like something about the 70s LGBT stuff. But yeah, there's been a long history of transphobia among some parts of drag communities. Because it's like, why do they take the hormones and do different stuff? Because why can't they just be themselves by wearing clothes? But that's the sidetrack to some degree. I feel like I can inch another aspect of Pride in here. What's your opinion on police in Pride?
I am surprisingly okay with it.
They tend to look appropriate on the floats.
You I mean, actual police. Perfect. Sorry, that was good.
Generally, they've been really very police are very good about the whole thing. That's been my general experience, is that they are, as you know, they know the duty when they're coming in. They
I will give you another. Well, this is like one of the few controversies here on the weather police, because last year, especially with everything that went on, there wasn't the Pride Parade last year, but
yeah,
there was some question whether there would be. So it was an active issue at that point. Because these are planned out months in advance.
yeah.
Which makes it a very bad riot. Too much planning makes it a bad riot.
No, I disagree there, but that's okay.
Who's gonna take the hammer to the bottom of the Starbucks window? There is a Starbucks on the roof.
yeah.
But I'm fine with it. The only controversy that was here was whether or not that LGBT identifying police could wear pins or not. Which I don't actually know how that was resolved. I never saw a follow-up on it.
Yeah, and I can see why there's definitely some concern, especially with bad police officers, like Minneapolis cops.
Even in not very welcoming locations of prides, if you will, the Pride grounds were welcoming. And the cops were always universally of the opinion that they were there to make sure that nobody did anything to the people at the Pride. That they were there for protection, not to be policing the Pride.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm surprisingly okay with it. It's one of those.
I mean,
I'm going to maybe controversial, but having police at Pride to protect the participants is kind of somewhat of a sign of
considering how it all started with that riot.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah. So,
on the other hand, yeah, police protect a lot of people who are getting up to shit, so.
Well,
over the
yeah,
police.
but also, obviously, police still do discriminatory stuff.
Yeah,
as well, and I know, depending on the police amount, like I don't necessarily know the level of because there's a lot of racism with police. I'm not quite sure what level is a good idea to make it seem because like a lot of movements have started off with a lot of good intentions and then been like focused on pleasing white people, and I definitely don't want Pride to go too far in that direction, but
yeah, well, it's a little late off the mark for that, isn't it?
Um. What do you mean?
It's as much as it started out inclusively, it became more stratified during the 80s. Well, during the late 70s and the 80s.
Well, yeah, but we can move Pride away from that, can't we?
People who don't feel welcome once are unlikely not to feel welcome again. Sorry, you can't see my shrug.
Yeah. They've arrived in some pretty unusual places, though.
But I mean, like, obviously, yeah, I just definitely don't want, I mean, there's been a lot of fighting to include the T with LGBTQ stuff, so
yeah,
and there was a lot of unwelcome in the past and a lot of fight to make it more welcoming, so I don't think I mean, I don't think change is obviously I mean, I'm not trying to say that you're saying this, I just I never want to give up at making some like or making or suggesting that a place be more inclusive.
well, I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I don't understand it because the LGBTQ bars and stuff are in a mixed neighborhood, and I mean they're all kind of grouped together, which is kind of funny. They segregate by type more.
Yes, but LGB is a lousy acronym. No one is going to work with it or remember it. However, QT plus, that's lyrical.
Yes, this is now the QT the QT plus movement. Right. Me and Christy are starting it right now.
Well, we're hyper cutie.
Yeah.
So plus applies to us.
Exactly, and
I'm a very inclusive person by nature, but you probably know that. It's kind of I have I don't even like that when the people say trans and non-binary, because I consider non-binary to be a part of the trans.
Yeah, I mean it is, because I mean being trans just means you're not the gender you're assigned at birth.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
who assigns that at birth? I've always wanted to ask that one.
Doctors.
Do they have some sort of a sorting hat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, the sorting hat is the doctor, and the doctor checks stuff and is just like, this seems about right, and then writes down something, and then that is how you're supposed to be treated for the rest of your life.
It's amazing, isn't it? But the doctor also says no more monkeys jumping on the bed, so fuck him. He doesn't know how to have fun.
Yeah, and we're past the halfway mark, the halfway point. Go ahead and like and subscribe.
The watershed.
If you're still interested, for whatever reason, after watching this far, but we can go off topic a bit, and it's Father's Day, and I, for whatever reason, didn't think, hey, this is it passed through my brain briefly, but then I lost my train of thought with regards to Father's Day and didn't think to make
I wanted
the episode about that. But
in being trans, do you ever find anything weird with Father's Day?
Yes.
I mean, you're going to have some insights there, Christy. That's going to be interesting.
Being a father, yeah.
Well as you go, being a father of a trans person.
Yeah.
Being a trans person who you were a father, you're a parent. But
Yeah.
before you had a role that would have been called father, and now you have a role that would be called mother.
No.
Or father, and this sort of thing. That's what I'm asking about. Is
Yeah. Yeah. For the first year and a half, I was still okay with being called dad, but then I wasn't, and it kind of snuck up on me. And I just expressed said I'm getting increasingly discomforted with that. Let's come up with something. And the assignment was given me because I'm the person who has to hear it, which fine. And I decided on a mixed Spanish-Portuguese term, which is only in use in very small places. It's not a widespread Spanish and Portuguese word. So, although you would recognize it from it's just Sita, which is little one or little, but would be short for say. Which would be short for it. But yeah, that's it. I didn't feel comfortable being called mom either.
But I mean, like I'm not. I've got mixed feelings with regards to the various parental holidays. Now, the better way of saying it starts to get complicated. I feel like you almost need like a main parent one day and a main parent 2 day, because otherwise, or just like a parents' day. I don't know, because lesbian or some two women can get together and have a kid, two men can get together and have a kid, a man and a non-binary person can go and have a kid, and it's just like, which, like, one or neither can apply to you, and it's just like, I feel like there just needs to be something. Because the thing is, there's a lot of toxic masculinity still in life, so I think there is still a reason to respect your parents in the mother-father thing. I think there is genuine help to benefit to society for that, and respecting like a caring father, because fathers actually being caring was not or not promoted as much societally in some parts of society. But at the same time, like, I don't like the idea of there being something where people have to choose between the binary.
Yeah, there's that too.
So you're saying that maybe they should consider that a non-binary thing? You're in favor of the non-binary option.
Well, I honestly, I'm honestly thinking, I don't even know. That's the problem. I'm just like, because there are, I don't know what's best for this, because we're in a place where there's still elements of the very limiting version of masculinity. I said toxic masculinity before, but honestly, limiting is a better way to describe it. I like, because it is limiting. It's saying you can't cry if you're a dude, or and be like a fucking badass fighter or something. But if you cry, you're less of a dude or something type attitude. Like that attitude's not helpful at all. But this thing, and there's still like elements of that shit in society. But at the same time, I don't want to leave people out because of that holiday, or those holidays. And so I'm stuck in a weird place mentally. Because I also don't want it to be like I'm just like older parent, younger parent day? Older parent day and younger parent day? Like, I don't know.
That'd be tricky. Oh, Lori is older, so.
Yeah, and but I mean, the thing is, even that, like, what if what if your parents are in like a polyamorous thing and you have 3 parents? Like, where does the other person's holiday go in? Do they like, or are they just rejected no matter how much they do? Like, I don't want that either. So, yeah, but I mean, then again, if you just did Parents' Day, you could celebrate the work that all your parents did, arguably. So ultimately, that might be my opinion on what's best. Just have a Parents' Day to respect and care, respect the if your parents have been kind to you at all or whatever, and not have been total assholes. And
yeah, there is that, isn't there?
Yeah. But I mean, then again, you know, you can do celebrate Parents' Day with someone who isn't your quote unquote biological parent.
I was about to say, Cyrus is out with Ty right now, so, which, cool, you know, stepfather.
Yeah.
So.
And, yeah, I was going to say I have to schedule something with Brenda, but there's just, like, a lot of scheduling I have to do. Well, I mean, yeah, no, my brain was going to go into grim personal details, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to make this the grim episode. This is about Pride, goddammit. And Pride is about being proud. Pride is about getting rid of shame for being who you are.
You can't see it, but I am in fact wearing my cheek tiara. My good one's downstairs.
Oh, okay. Apparently, National Parents' Day is on June the 1st, so I've already missed it.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Is there anything that gets weird around the Father's and Mother's Day and so on as a trans child?
So, I mean, I admittedly didn't put a lot of thought into it until today, because I've had really accepting parents, so I am like incredibly fucking privileged. So for me, I can just like go along with it or whatever, just out of habit without thinking about it at all. Which, like, that's how most privileges work. But yeah, I don't think like for instance, and I don't think I don't have any reason to necessarily believe this would happen, but like if me and my girlfriend got together longer and were able to have kids or whatnot and decided to have kids and go through all that effort, I think I'd have mixed feelings. Like, we could just, because like, I mean, would Mother's Day be, I mean, I'd kind of like Parents' Day because that would just be easier.
Yeah.
Because I can be agender half the time and I don't want to think about it too much, and I don't want to yeah, but I mean, it's I mean, the difficult part is that so much of our society has been segmented in such a way that some of Mother's Day has been associated with respecting the work your mother did taking care of you, or respecting your father's work getting an income or whatnot, or vice versa, in my parents' case. But like when it's just, it's something that, yeah, it would just be simpler, just condensing it down maybe, but then it feels less special individually. I don't know, my brain's going all over the place with this. Clearly.
Yeah, but it was a fun exploration.
It was a fun exploration, and I do respect that question because it is thing. And also in chat, mysteriously, 6 tips for accessibility at Pride has appeared out of thin air.
In there. I just was trying to brush my hair back, realized I had my tiara, and I just poked myself in the head with the frogs. Ow.
Yeah.
I really do have a dog because I don't know how to wear it right.
So accessibility coordinator, number 1. 2, ramps / no step paths. Fucking steps are a nightmare for any sort of accessibility that I've heard about or seen. There needs to be more ramps. American Sign Language interpreters, which, by the way,
fragrance-free areas. See, I wouldn't have even thought of that one. But yeah,
and that is something I remember that sort of stuff being brought up at some point, but I forget about the fragrance-free areas because of either allergies or hypersensitivity to smell, or any number of things that can make an area have with that's heavily filled with fragrances, risking either causing a physiological reaction or a incredibly upsetting psychological one. Designated ADA seating, which is that everywhere should have that anyways, but apparently there are migraine trigger often as well. And also sober spaces, which
Yes.
yeah, I think sober spaces just in general are kind of important.
As someone who's an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic, I kind of deal with that. So
yeah.
but I have to play in bars enough. We don't have a lot of non-bar venues here for music, which is bad.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, and that's not good. And also not everyone drinks like a ton.
I know. But it's either that or cut my income off completely.
Yeah. I see another link. Pride should be accessible, intersectional, political, which I agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a political statement because it's effectively an aspect of a fight to, show that people should be able to be who they are. And yeah. But yeah, I'm trying. Also, happy Father's Day to any fathers out there.
Well, as a father,
Yep.
there. Happy Father's Day, Perfict, and all other dads are.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to any stray fathers.
Yeah.
Or, fathers who stay home, too.
Yeah. And, fathers who love their family. Fathers who left their family to start another family. I might have something against those fathers. But,
No.
depending on circumstance, but...
Don't judge.
Yeah, really. My mom finally got it right on her 7th marriage, so I'm cool with,
Well, okay, but, it is weird to rush off and leave your kids to go start a different family because the mom's disabled or whatever the hell the other reason my dad's biological father left that family.
Yeah.
I'm biased. I will 100% accept that I am biased against fathers who are assholes.
No. It's all tricky, isn't it?
But yeah,
My relationship to my father and my relationship to my stepfather is very tricky.
yeah,
They're both dead, so fuck it.
yeah. My dad's still alive and he's cool. But yeah, back to Pride. Christy, I mean, this question is gonna be mostly for you, but Perfict, you can bring up ideas. How would you improve Pride? If you could.
Well, the accessibility has been addressed over the last several years, so that's... And when I say last several years, I'm just eliminating 2020. I can't wrap my head that was a year.
Well, so accessibility has worked for the Pride that you go to, obviously. There are other Prides that are less accessible than yours, but yeah. Plus, we've been talking about that a bit, so.
And I was rather in the minority in the group about police at Pride, so as I expected. But it was city ordinance, so there was no way around it. And
Well, you could burn down the police station. By the way, the Flute Voice does not recommend doing that at any point ever.
yes, you live in St.
Yes.
Paul, not Minneapolis.
True, I live in St. Paul and not Minneapolis currently. But also, I cannot officially, our show cannot officially promote that behavior since it is illegal behavior, and I don't want the channel getting in trouble for something like that.
I wouldn't promote that behavior anyway. I mean,
Now, perhaps if you just messed with the frequency of prides. So you have one pride this year, and next year you have 2, and the year after you have 4 and 8, and so on.
And then every day is Pride. Twice
And
a day.
fairly soon you get, yes, that's right, every day is pride, and
for people
and
like,
then and it's just normal, it's called, right? At some point you've got to go with that. Well, that's just normal.
That's actually a really good idea.
one real quick on the normal. This is one of those things
Oh, okay.
that it's one of those. I'm just the transphobes always going. I'm not cis. I'm normal, or I'm not cis. I mean, I remember. I'm not hetero. Why do you need a word for it? I'm not hetero. I'm normal. I'm not. I mean, for God's sakes, this is the same old shit. But yeah, there was back in the aughts, there was some question of trans people at Pride. I waited till it was safe to come out. So
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, including myself, were first introduced to the term cis where it was used in an accusatory fashion. And that made it have an accusatory sound. And you go, yeah, you know, you get to choose what you identify as, I'll choose what I identify as. And then you go, yeah, that's actually, you know, you look into what the word means and you're like, okay, there we go.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I can do a whole. So, like, the problem with the word normal sometimes is that it's used, or probably far too much is used instead of what is most likely. It tends to be used with the connotation of how things should be. And that's when normal gets really annoying. Just as a concept. When it's just like, this is how you should be.
Considering my email address used to be Abbey Normal, I'm kind of, you know.
The brain from
Yes,
Dr. Frankenstein.
Yep.
I lived on a street called Normal.
Nice.
And my friend made a house sign for us. Welcome to the Abbey Normal.
Nice.
So I didn't designate myself that.
But even that connotation, the whole point is that the brain is abnormal, so that's why that's a crazy, stupid monster. Like if you can break down a lot of this stuff and just be like, well, there are certain connotations to. I mean, the whole point of using different words or choosing different words is to just try to eliminate the weird connotations that don't actually benefit anyone in society outside of people who at the moment can feel better than others.
Well, yeah, but cis was chosen because of its opposite relation to trans.
Yeah.
Trans was chosen because transitive, transformative, but it all comes from the Latin, which was trans. There was the Transvaal, it was the other side of the mountains.
Yeah.
And the Cisvaal is this side of the mountains.
Yeah.
But it was just, and then so when they looked for something that was the other side of the mountain from trans, and they said, we'll be cutesy and we'll pick cis. See, that's funny. You go, yeah, that's actually, and it's descriptive, and it's how words evolve, and suddenly you go, yeah, that you know, I can spend a lot of time getting whiny about shit, but what people want to call my gender assignment seems to me I don't get to really be bitchy about that.
No, and it's not like it's new. It's just just using the cis as the opposite of trans is over 2,000 years old. But the term in relation to what we now call transgender people, it would have been cisvestite was a word.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes, in 1910 the word was coined.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, these things don't actually pop up overnight. It's just with the internet, people had more opportunity to be vocal and more easily heard. Smaller communities had more ability to be heard using the internet, for good and for bad. There's some, because not a fan of the neo-Nazis on the internet. Just gonna say that's right.
It's not just on the internet. I'm not in favor of them in lots of places.
Well, that too. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have just stuck with the internet.
that is the one kink I think we can ban from Pride. Bring it back around.
That's kind of the one that you can get away with that, because or just other stuff. So if you're recreating actual oppression as a kink, it kind of, I'm not a fan of that, because it kind of implies a promotion of that. And Perfect's internet must have just gone out for a second. He should be back soon.
Yeah, I'm not having that problem anymore, thankfully.
Yeah.
They replaced the router, and
all right.
It was really getting bad. Plus, my computer was dying. I came back from Portland and it was dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. Still plugged in though.
But yeah, it's it's just one of those things where you need to have a clear, consistent reason, ideally.
Yeah.
Although people don't tend to be perfect, and everyone messes up with that sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we were perfect, I'd know where my shoes were.
Yeah, fun story about that. I didn't know where. I thought only one of my shoes, or I thought I knew only where one of my shoes was, and then the other shoe appeared one day, and maybe it was somewhere else and a roommate put it there, or maybe, just maybe, it was always there and I just didn't notice it. So,
part of my autistic thing is I don't pay attention to stuff. I really pay attention to people. So I don't actually notice things. It's unless they relate directly to a person. Quick thing. The second apartment in a row I've had my car key right on a shelf, so that everybody can use the car. Fine. Or move it because we have alternate street parking. And that's what I prefer, is that they move it for me. A few months ago now, I suddenly said, when did we get the statue of Michael here? And apparently it came with the wife. And has been where my key has sat for 2 apartments now.
Oh.
Hello again.
So, hi.
Just a brief out.
Yeah.
Sorry to leave you in the lurch like that.
Yeah, that's okay. Words. I can't words. I can open up my text document and just do the thing that I definitely wrote stuff down in general. Haha. Okay, so I actually this is a good question just in general. So let's say you're running a Pride event. It's super well set up and whatnot, but like so what can you do, or is there nothing really you can do if one person, someone who abused someone else, is there actually a way to restrict abusers' access to Pride, or not really, without getting without keeping people out, without like completely getting away from people's ability to not feel shame?
Well, I think you can make people follow court orders if there's anything involved like that. I mean, that's not orders of protection, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that
makes
wouldn't
sense,
be too bad. An idea of if you have a court order against someone, you can.
Right, but suppose there's no court order in effect, and that kind of thing. What can you do? And that's just based on you going. It's who's causing a disturbance.
Yeah,
It would be basically the idea. You can say, "I'm sorry, you're causing a disturbance."
well, yeah. Although,
Okay, if somebody, for instance, wanted to show up to harangue or harass their gay family member, it wouldn't matter, would it? I mean, you go, no, if you want to be haranguing or harassing your gay cousin, parent, uncle, brother, daughter, it doesn't matter what the relationship is.
yeah, obviously,
You're the troublemaker.
Yeah, obviously, in a circumstance like that, The more complicated circumstance, I guess, is the circumstance I'm a bit more familiar with personally. Is or at the very least, in terms of experience. Hmm? Um, Christy.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. As I said, my internet didn't go out, but apparently
Oh, okay.
my computer froze for a moment.
Oh, okay. No, I was
Off.
wondering if there's a way to, um, if there was like an actual ethical way to, um, uh, uh, prevent, uh, the accessibility of abusive people in Pride, or
It depends on what kind of abusive. I mean, that's a terrible answer, but that's the only one I got.
yeah, because I mean,
I'm just thinking, you got somebody who's sitting there and they're going, look, I just can't be me. I can't be gay in front of my parent.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't show up here to learn about what being gay means. She's here to make that point to me. And I don't need that in my life. And you're going, yeah, but I that's a tough, you're in a tough spot because you don't think that she showed up for the good reasons either. But unless you're willing to make the hard calls and say, yeah, I'm gay, Mom, in front of Mom, maybe you're not high enough to ride this ride. I don't know.
Well, I don't think that, because I think that ultimately, like, you can't, if you can't even know what it's like, it's hard to fight for it. And I mean, that's my opinion on it. But I wasn't thinking about like stuff where the person was like, so like that would likely involve a parent causing a disturbance. I guess maybe I am overthinking things, because I'm more used to emotional abuse, and emotional abuse is harder to deal with.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to be, I guess, covering.
Yes.
Where a lot of people can show up and be an ass. They're being an asshat. Okay? But butter will not melt in their mouth. They're just completely cool.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Me?
I don't think you should allow Westboro at Pride.
Well, yeah.
On the other hand, it was gay people who got them out of there. So the 3 of the kids out of there. So,
Yeah, it's. I
mean, I would like to have the
complicated
luxury of operating the Pride to be able to say to somebody in that sort of situation, guess what? I am your best friend. We're going to be together all day today, and I'm going to make sure that you have the quality of experience that I want you to have. Okay?
Very Hobbesian of you, isn't it?
I guess I have another question. What do you think is the future of Pride?
I think it'll be a parade. It'll remain a parade. I don't. With any luck, it won't be as well. It's getting. Depends on where you are, obviously. It's I think bringing trans rights more to the fore is pretty extensive. The Dyke March that I went to, the one I've been referencing, I was just before we started, I was reading what that was all about, because I mostly went because it's complicated, but but that was apparently specifically for trans femme and lesbian women, which was like, oh, that's kind of cool, actually, now that I know that, which I didn't at the time. Which I think, yeah, promoting the trans rights into it, that trans is part of the rainbow, or not, non-binary is a thing. Well, not a thing. They're not things. They're my friends.
Yeah.
And just the general, none of us are free until all of us are free.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in my opinion, I would really like Pride to just, and there have been elements of this, but a lot of Pride, a lot of the core of Pride is not feeling shamed for existing, and that sort of shame is oftentimes pushed on people for a wide number of reasons, and I think increasing the inclusivity of marginalized groups, whether it be making Pride more accessible, depending on where you are. Some places are more accessible just in general than others. Making pairing up well with Black Lives Matter and other such movements, and just not making hierarchies of what counts as a true part of Pride.
Yeah, which is why it's that's always the trick, isn't it? It's who I'm kind of with you that anybody can come as long as they're not. Oh, damn. I was listening to Frankie Goes to Hollywood last night, so ta-da! So I had to say that one word. Anybody can be a part of it as long as they're not verbally or physically abusive without consent.
Yeah. And yeah, when it comes to kink communities, there's the good kinksters and the bad kinksters, and the bad kinksters are those people who are constantly trying to pressure people into doing something to satisfy their kink.
Yeah.
Like,
and I can't say I haven't run into them, but
yeah, I can't say I haven't run into them either.
Specifically at Pride.
Oh, I'm sorry. We kicked someone from our guild because he kept asking one of our guild members for feet pics.
Hey.
For what?
Feet pics. Like, intrusively levels of asking for feet pics.
So glad my feet aren't on camera. Oh, I'm still maintaining the illusion that I was picking at my feet, which I was not in fact doing.
Oh, now it's gotten to full mind games. I'm just like, wait, were you picking at your feet or were you not picking at your feet?
No,
How
I
can
was
I
not.
tell?
No, I was. If I say in fact in front of something, that is. If I'm making a joke, sometimes that's the closest I get to lying.
So that in fact is the fact.
So if I say in fact, it means that is what is going on. So if I say I'm not in fact, and if I say something that could be misconstrued as not being a joke and that I am actually doing it, I will correct it later on in the record, which I was just doing. I am kind of like that. That's why I had to. Nobody remembers the order that I came out in. It was important. But I've said the story wrong all this time, so I'm kind of like, I need to fix this because that's part of my inability to lie. Having to correct shit.
Yeah.
My own shit. I don't correct other people's shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's all I can think of with regards to Pride off the top of my head. Sorry I've been like a bit of a mess, like, for a bit.
Pride. I think we'll keep it.
Yeah.
Well, as an intruder on Pride. No.
No, we don't want to get into the segregation mentality.
I know, that was the joke.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah, I've
my
never
brain
got the
is
impression
just
at all that there was even the slightest note of, oh, this is for gay people, or anything like that. No, this isn't for you. It's,
That's why I say it for everybody. Serious. I actually, Pride. I think expound for real. What do you think, as someone who is an ally and not a member?
yes.
Their club for.
And you have to give us a good answer, Perfect. Otherwise, we will kick you from the show. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that.
Some advice to other cis men, and I would presume women. Your social credit goes way up. If somebody is there and they are looking for a cis man, you have become candy.
A cis het man, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Or I suppose a cis game. No, wait. That would be included in Pride.
But no, that's true. Although there's that's part of the reason. Although sorry, my brain died. I had something and my brain died.
So all the normal people should now go hang out at Pride. See?
Okay.
Oh God! And even the terminology.
With the large.
You think I did that by accident?
No, I know you didn't.
Hey, I thank the Dyke March for allowing me to be there, because otherwise I wouldn't have come out. Or I probably would have. Actually, I probably would have at that point. That's maybe why I think of it as something that happened earlier, because that was when I made the decision.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was that late in the game when I made the decision. I thought I really thought about it for a long time.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end.
Okay.
We can wrap things up.
So you're kicking us out of the
Let's start
pool,
with with you, Perfict, because you're the fastest. Where can people find you, Perfict?
They can find me on Discord at the Fluid Voice Discord and the Rumpus Room, and they can watch past videos here.
Yeah,
Or new videos. I'm on new videos too. I mean,
yeah,
I'm here a lot.
And you should be I should be able to get up the first episode of I called it critical learning. That was in the options. That was in the notes of options, but critical learning should come up. The first episode should come up on Friday, and there'll be Cogito Ergo Sum and the Law of Identity. I think that's how it's framed.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, Christy, where can people find you, and is there anything you're working on?
I've been sick. I haven't really been working on anything. Perfict and I did record the first episode of Trans 101, and we'll get it up tomorrow. But it will be unedited, so I don't have an editor on this computer. I don't have an editor on the other computer either, really.
Well, I mean, they're free editors.
Yeah, but and I've used it, but only when necessary. Yeah, so it'll be going up tomorrow afternoon, evening, Eastern Standard, or Eastern. Are we in daylight? I don't know. I
don't know either. I usually just say Eastern time or Central time, whatever time it is, whether it be daylight time or regular time. I don't know what the other time is usually listed as. It's too complicated for me.
But other than that, the prologue to Trans 101 is going up on tomorrow, Monday, the 21st. As soon as I get back from the doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's holding your feet to the fire on that.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just pretty sure I'll be done editing the other thing fast enough to get it up on Friday. So that's why I was saying that stuff. It was just it was a messy week. It's just, yeah. I'm not gonna.
So come on.
I'm not gonna brain. Oh yeah. So like things. People can find me on this channel. Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Fridays with Perfict, with those pre-recorded important philosophical concepts videos. They'll probably branch out at some point. Once there are more ideas, and I'm probably going to have to rework the Fluid Voice Discord and just get everything, just have a reboot of it effectively, just so people can start popping back in and there can be more liveliness in the Fluid Voice Discord, along with links. So that should be fine. And there's life stuff as well that I'm dealing with, and there may be other stuff as soon as I come up with ideas for it. There might be stuff that shows up on my main channel eventually. I don't know. Find out. But anyways, your voice matters, your life matters, and you know what? You matter. You really do.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm making the idic symbol.
Bye. I need to, I'm overthinking things. Bye.
Bye.